Assalamu alaikum. I'm absolutely delighted to be here. My thanks to the Islam Channel, the organisers, and congratulations as well on achieving the huge scale of this event once again this year. And let me also extend a personal welcome to everybody as one of the local members of Parliament to the Excel Centre, which in a little less than 3 years is going to be one of the Olympic game venues in 2012. And I particularly want to welcome all those who've come from outside the UK to join us for this very impressive and important event. And it is very impressive, from my point of view, to see such a large number of people coming together here in East London in the name of faith. I first came to East London 30 years ago when I was a student to help out on a church project not far away in Forest Gate, and I'm still a member of the new church which was set up by the project team a little while later on in Plaistow. So for me, faith has always been the starting point for my involvement in our local community in this area and my starting point in politics. We're about to see on London buses some adverts that say there probably isn't a God, when parts of our society are so deeply secular as they are today, so hostile to acknowledgement of God. I want today to express appreciation and thanks to Muslims in Britain for insisting on faith, for helping put faith back today at the centre of Britain's national life and debate in a way that it wasn't for a very long time. You are a very important part of the reason for that change, and it's a change that I welcome, that people again are talking about faith in the UK. I'm the Labour Party's Vice Chair for faith groups, and people sometimes say you shouldn't mix faith and politics, that if you do, you're asking for trouble. I take the opposite view. We need a lot more people taking up politics from the starting point of faith, because faith is the source of decent values, honesty, responsibility, commitment to family, generosity, solidarity, support for peace, anger at injustice and at poverty, decent values which the Muslim community shows in abundance. Those are exactly the values that we need in politics and which this event can help us to promote. And if we don't have those values in our politics, then our politics will be much the worse as a result. Earlier this year, the BBC World Service broadcast a radio programme that was recorded locally. They visited with me 2 mosques, the Shah Jalal Mosque in Manor Park, Anjuman-e-Islamia in East Ham, and we went to 2 churches, a Hindu temple and a Sikh Gurdwara. And what struck me again in those visits, and what was communicated in that programme to listeners around the world, was the positive contribution to cohesion which those faith groups and the projects that they were involved in are bringing to the community that I represent in Parliament. Because what are our hopes for Britain? We aspire not just for successful businesses, but also for companies and business people who take account of the social, the environmental impact of their businesses. We want business people who recognise not only the money they can make, but also the good that they can achieve. We're aiming not only for better educated young people learning in well-equipped schools, but also for young people who are at ease with who they are in our society, learning and imagining what they might contribute to our country's future. We're aiming not just for a world-class health service with dedicated staff, but also for respect and understanding of our individual needs and of the needs of our communities. We aspire for a society which values the talents of every single person, allowing us to contribute with every individual achieving what none of us, no matter how wealthy we were, could achieve on our own. We want a society where nobody has to live in fear on account of their faith, where we reject violence as a tool for getting our own way, a society where everybody has a part to play and where nobody is written off. That's not just my political vision as a member of the Labour Party, it's also my religious vision as a Christian, and it's a vision shared by Muslim friends and by people from other faith starting points as well. And amongst the Muslims that I represent, I see and I applaud the impulse to care for each other and to care for those who are not Muslims as well. And we need people of faith working through politics to bring that vision about. Christians, Muslims, others too, distinctive faiths, but sharing a vision for the kind of society, the kind of country in which all of us want to live. I'm very pleased that quite a number of my ministerial colleagues are taking part in GPU. I want to make some points from my standpoint as a minister in the Treasury. On Tuesday, I'll be speaking at the Muslim Council of Britain's second Islamic Finance and Trade Conference. At the first conference, when he was Chancellor of the Exchequer, Gordon Brown set out the goal for London to be the world centre for Islamic finance, and we've made some very good progress since then. And of course that is a goal which is even more important for us now in a period of turbulence in the world economy like the one we're in at the moment. We are already the West's major centre for Islamic finance. 18 sukuk have been listed in London, worth some $13 billion between them. We have 5 dedicated Islamic banks, a number of them exhibiting outside, and over 20 conventional banks that offer Islamic financial services, again, a number in the exhibition here today. There are more banks in Britain offering Islamic finance than in the whole of the rest of Western Europe put together. Around the world, we've seen Islamic finance assets growing at a rate of almost 20% a year since the year 2000, now perhaps together worth $700 billion worldwide. And over the past 5 years, in Britain, we've made a series of reforms to make sure there's a level playing field in tax and in regulation between conventional finance and Islamic finance. There's been real progress enabling some genuinely competitive Sharia-compliant mortgages, individual savings accounts, and child trust funds, to name just 3 examples. We've been looking also at the potential for the government to offer its own sterling-denominated sovereign sukuk, and we'll be providing an update on progress with that initiative at the pre-budget report in a few weeks' time. And before the end of this year, arising from our work with the Islamic Finance Experts Group, we'll be publishing a document with UK Trade and Investment setting out clearly our future approach, focusing attention on what needs to be done to make further progress. Because we have in Britain the community and the commitment, the skills and the scale, the expertise and the connections around the world, and it's an opportunity we want to see realised for the benefit of Britain as a whole. Over hundreds of years, those who've come to the UK from overseas have enriched every aspect of our national life. The diversity of Britain today is underpinning what we're achieving, and it's one of the main reasons, for example, why the Olympic Games are coming to this part of London in 4 years' time. In Britain, we have non-negotiable values that apply to everyone. Respect for the law, freedom of speech, equality of opportunity, responsibility towards others. Britain is a great place to live. We want everybody to be able to play a full part with nobody at all written off. And that means that we want in Britain distinctive institutions which are both Muslim and British. 100% faithfully Muslim, 100% loyally British, both at the same time, with no hint of a conflict. I welcome the institutions that we're seeing springing up around the UK which fit that pattern, because in that way we shall see Muslims contributing more and more to the richness of British life, and more to our aims of a strong economy and a strong society for the benefit of every single person in Britain. Thank you very much indeed for the opportunity to speak to you today. Thank you.